Gacha games, one of the most infamous genres in gaming known to man. These are some of the most predatory and vicious games in the industry, using tactics similar to gambling to suck its victims dry. Today we will be exploring one of the most popular gacha games, Honkai Star Rail, and taking a look at some stories on how much some of the player base has spent on it. I figured Reddit would be the best place to figure out how much some of the player base has spent on the game, and I found a post and a poll in our Honkai Star Rail. The post was, how much have y'all spent? And the poll was, how much have you spent on Honkai Star Rail roughly? I'll show the results for the poll later, but for now I want to focus on how much these Redditors spent. Spending money on the game is never ideal, but if you do, there are some tools to help you save money, like lootbar GG. Lootbar is a platform that lets you buy stellar jades cheaper than what they're going for in game. You can use it to buy stellar jades and even the express supply pass. For example, the original price for 4,000 stellar jades is $50. You can take 20% off and it's only $42.44, which saves you $7.55. They do this by leveraging favorable exchange rates. The purchasing process is safe, secure, and simple, and has a very high rating on Trustpilot. You can go see yourself and look at all of the reviews. Once you find what you want to buy, all you have to do is enter your UID and hit purchase. And as you can see, just a few moments later, the stellar jades will hit your account. It's pretty quick. Lootbar also works with other big gacha games like ZZZ and Genshin Impact. They support international payments, and you can get products up to 20% cheaper than they are in game. And you can get an extra 5% off by clicking the link in my description. Now, I'm only going to be talking about the most extreme cases because those are the only ones we're actually interested in, but I did notice that most people commenting under these posts had only bought the express pass and or the battle pass. It seems like most of these players are low spenders, which would make sense because not everyone can afford to blow money on gacha games. Everyone I'll be talking about here are pretty much in the minority. Keep in mind that this post was made almost a year ago, so the game had only been out a few months at this point. Alright, so these guys are responding to the question, how much money have you spent? Spending is completely optional. Loads of strong 4 stars to beat MLC 10. I used to be budget Welcome Moon only on Genshin and still able to beat 36 star Abyss. Star Rail and Genshin are the only games that keeps my depression away, so I support it as much as I can. Spent over 8,000 US dollars. I know no one asked, but around 20k for Genshin. Blowing money on gacha games to keep your depression away does not sound healthy at all. And 28k, bruh, that's about what I make in a year. Holy shit. Lost count after 4,000. Motherfucker, help me! Help me! My wallet 2023. Probably around $3,500. I'm a battle pass and Welkin player. Help! Yeah, buddy, sure you are. Plus, I topped up 50 wishes for every 100 free wishes I saved back in first and second year. Stopped topping up as much when I bought a home, gotta pay that mortgage, and had a baby. Good for him. I'm glad he has his priorities now. I learned to be more careful with overspending after Genshin. I literally spent 3k on that game and I low-key regret it, lol. The feeling of rolling was just too good at the time. For Honkai Star Rail, I only buy the $5 daily one and the battle pass. I feel like this one's really relatable because a lot of Honkai players regret how much money they've spent on Genshin, so they spend little to no money on Honkai. I only have one functional kidney. Every month, $5 for supply pass and about $7 for the battle pass. So about $12 to $13 every month. Reasonable, less than a day's work for something I would be playing for a long time. Yeah, that sounds pretty reasonable. If I really like some characters, either for their look or power, well, $1,000 can be spared if I desire their Eidolons, less if not, bro. I'm not gonna lie, you had me in the first half. I'm not quite sure, I stopped keeping track. Among buying the battle pass / daily jades, I also bought jades for Kafka, Fushuan, and Jingliu. I think it's been somewhere like $700. Try writing it down in a journal. That's actually a pretty good idea. That's what I did, and I'm at 1.2k. I try not to think too much about it. At least $300? E2 Daniel is expensive, Lamau. I think he's talking about Mbibidalune. Worst case of spending I ever did on a male character. Took way too long to get his first copy, and even more so his light cone. Though I plan to stop spending as I'm slowly moving on from gacha games to another wallet opening hobby. I wonder what that is. Around $400 so far, i.e. 6 Blady. I won every 50-50 when pulling for him. He chooses me over 20,000 US dollars. Jesus fucking Christ. E6, S5, every limited except Lucha. He was kind enough to put his UID, so if you want to use his characters, there it is. Holy, that's the most I've seen so far. Babe, do you need help? Jesus Christ, that's a lot. I probably should chill on gacha. Over the last 3 to 4 years, I probably could have paid off a Lux car or a small house. Bro, what? But to be honest, a lot was from play money. I day trade options and had some lucky investments hit big. So gacha money isn't coming from my month-to-month budgeting. How to day trade? I desire to be between these two. Oh my god. Like a train, or am I just being dirty? Roughly 1k. Most of it was on my E6 S3 Locha. So based. I spent 1/3 of my money just for E2 and Light Cone. He's such a daddy. You know what? It's a bit relieving to see that girls can be just as down bad as men sometimes. Like almost $300? I know eventually I'll probably grow tired and move on to the next game. But what I learned from the past, don't regret any decision you make. Live with it, and enjoying it is what makes it important. Same, that's what I do. I never have sunk cost fallacy because I know I enjoyed it within the moment. I'm not gonna hold you, that sounds like a bunch of coke to me. I think it's good to have regrets so you don't make the same mistakes again, like spending an absurd amount of money on gacha games, around $750. I rolled on characters I didn't want nor needed and do regret it. I roll on signature light cones and characters I like. My advice to you is not to get swept up in character hype if you don't feel strongly for a character in both kit and visuals. Every character is good or great when properly supported. Support units make up 80% of the team's power. Your DPSs are competing on a very compressed space, and the distance between their performances are smaller than what the community will lead you to believe. Try to do research into units you especially like and give yourself time to decide on whether or not you want to pull them. The crazy part is $750 US isn't even that much in game. It's like 3 to 4 5-star characters. That price is gouging crazy. Yep, let's be real, $750 is $750. It's a lot of money. Buying Jades adds up. Over 6 months, this is well within my means though. Watch your wallet, folks. A little over 3,000 US dollars. I'm a bit curious, how far can 3k get you in this game? Well, I'm behind 6 mortgage payments, but I got E6 Jingliu and E4 Zila. Bro. First of all, I feel like that's not a lot for $3,000. And second of all, these replies are hilarious. Skull emoji. Bro, please say psych. Dog. Bro has his priorities. I buy the $150 pack every patch. $300 if I lose the 50-50, and $450 if I'm pissed after losing the 50-50 again in the light cone. Most sane gacha addict. Jesus Christ, I wish I had this much money to spend on video games. Me too, buddy, me too. Well, I could cover 2 packs with 1 day of overtime, so it's not that bad. Bro, $300 with 1 day of overtime, bro? Where are these guys working, man? If you're single and have a job, it's pretty easy. I think what he meant to say is, if you're single and you're making over 60k a year, then it's pretty easy. Actually, I have a notepad to keep up with how much I spend since the game started, and I'm at $1,254. This is because I only try to get E0 plus light cone for my favorite units versus rolling for everyone, including characters I didn't like, which I did in Genshin and regret it. And those were just some of the best comments I could find. Now let's look at the actual poll they set up asking how much players have spent. As you can see, there were a total of 4,000 voters. 32% of players who voted are completely free to play. 27% of players have spent $1 to $50. 14% of players have spent $50 to $100. 18% of players have spent $100 to $500. 4% of players have spent $500 to $1,000, and 3% of players have spent over $1,000. Looking at this chart, it was about what I was guessing. Most players spend little to no money on the game, while the minority are the big spenders. But yeah, I think a lot of these comments are really interesting. I would love to hear what you think, and I would also like to hear how much you've spent on the game. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. If you've liked this video, then you'll probably enjoy my future videos, which means you might as well subscribe.